Well, this might be a long recording. Just set up the tiny chat, doing it as I was doing before. Instead of waiting for people to come into the room, I just decided I was going to go ahead and start start the process so I can talk while I'm doing this, even though I'm not certain I want to do that right now. So I don't know. I'm fighting with the idea. I kind of want to listen to videos. Maybe delete the tiny chat, and it's already going, so I might as well continue on. Listen to Eric Orwell video this morning, which was really great. He's a young man, and he's got a lot of young man concerns in terms of violence and sex. He feels that everything is a matter of violence and sex and philosophy, and he doesn't see yet the kind of the hormonal drain, the metabolism slowing down sort of scenario yet, what you're left over with as far as a philosophy when that slows down. He's more busy about his relationship to the law and, walk on four legs breaks the law. Wants to run naked down the street and exist as a free entity, and yet he's finding himself bounded by circumstance, bounded by the law. And really, what can you do about it? I mean, they will come and get you if you persist on breaking the law. That's why I think he's a candidate for going crazy, for going mad. Not dissimilar to myself. I love the phrase "not dissimilar." Anyway, but what he talked about was absolutely fabulous to hear. His relationship. He didn't really go into God particularly as much as just spiritualism. What is philosophy? Is it love or is it violence? And that's peculiar because for me, a lot of things are now just a matter of how things are phrased, coming to some sort of grip. It's not really defining reality anymore because reality's been shattered for me. So I'll leave reality up for the scientists, metaphysical naturalists. Let them play in that realm. There seems as if there's more to be, I don't know, more peculiar things in the universe. Having a sensation of guidance, having a sensation of something hovering above you, following you, tracing your every move. Kind of an insistence of invoking based on art forms that you participate in. I get concerned about art forms. I love surrealists for what they're able to do, what they've done, what they express in general. Why? Yeah, but I did want Eric Orwell on my show because of his youthful vitality, his energy towards philosophy, his outlook and his perspective, because he's so politically enraged and engaged. And I'm thinking, if a few hundred years ago the old age was living into your 40s, then the majority of the population were young men, and young men get fed up with the law and with circumstance telling you to be in a certain way, where when you're older you get more conservative, you're more about reflection and holding on to life, and so there's less political upheaval the longer people live. That's what I think, at least. I think there's less political upheaval the longer people live. Anyway, I also read a quote that said, make certain that what you're saying, so something to the effect is, make certain that what you're saying, what comes out of your mouth is strictly gems. That you only want to speak gems. Don't speak don't speak crassly. Don't speak too quickly. But I don't know. I don't know what to say about things either. A lot of times, I'm more or less around to butt heads with other people who just simply don't want to take on what it is I'm expressing, the totality of my being, who it is I am, what it is I contribute, if I contribute, you know. But it's not all about me. I mean, in a way, what my artwork stands for something more than what my words stand for. I think that's the case for most painters. They're just laying down a track of thoughts that are important to them. Anyway, I'm still all alone, and I'm going on 9 minutes. And again, it's early in the day. It's 10 o'clock my time. 10 o'clock in the morning. But I figured the Brits, they would just be, I don't know, maybe they're probably still at work. And I normally start a little later than this. But what to say? Yeah, I mean, I was deciding whether or not to become a political activist to try to change things, or try to accept my environment. And I realized ultimately that there was no sense in violence. There was no sense in in propagating a violence, but more or less sitting it out, waiting for things to change. Like that everything's an organic movement anyway, it's going to change of its own accord. And so, when it rears its head, when change rears its head, and you can see the see people activating in response to politics, then that's the time to respond, to bring out your inner self. Unless you wanted to function like a Napoleon and you see things forecasted in a way and you wanted to become like a Napoleon and seize the moment to go in and change the landscape in a huge and drastic way. I don't know. Yeah. Well, what do I do? But yeah, in a way to reduce philosophy, you know, to desire change, to desire perception to be in one way as opposed to another, it does seem as if there's a radical need to affect other minds, and to really affect other minds. Oftentimes, I guess that is found through a form of violence or a form of anger, a form of syntactical violence, just putting oneself out there. Is a huge thing. Let's see. Right on. I don't know. I was thinking about artist communes in Vienna today, and the idea of accepting my environment, my current landscape, as opposed to packing up and moving to an artist commune where the energies are high and the frequencies are really interconnected painting, paintings with, kind of like Alex Gray, kind of really um, a lot of energy moving through kind of transparencies of being, that type of painting. I don't know. It's so weird because my paintings border on something violent, and those circles are all about peace and energy. Come on, we'll get off of the. Yeah, so what to say? Yeah, I guess it'll be okay to look back on these videos and see myself at this time, kind of just to get an idea of what was crawling around in my head. You know, I don't know, I hate the idea of hating my past. The idea of hating my past is not anything I look forward to. I don't want to look back on going, oh wow, I really hated myself then, or look at all the things that I didn't do that I should have been doing. Kind of, kind of wish to have been something greater, something more when I'm stuck in my skin at this particular time, in this particular circumstance. I think people just come to grips of their real limitations on their being. That there's really only so much that they're capable of doing in this life during their time. But some people know how to reach in and manifest, really manifest, and express their lives and move up in social circumstances very quickly that pay them off, or that support them, where other people struggle and they have a dream, but the dream ends up dying early on, and then they're left as kind of leftovers, kind of remnants of. Dead dreams. Or the idea of, oh, I didn't try hard enough. The idea of those who think they tried as hard as they could have to become what it is they wanted to become. Kind of a resentment of where their energies were placed. Seeing youthful energies. I mean, I see artists who are in their 20s that have more overall vitality in their paintings than I'm able to express, and they're just tapped into more flow, and I don't know, I think that's an amazing thing. I don't know, some people are just tapped into greater flow than other people, and it shows. Musicians are fabulous. The humanities, I don't know. Maybe I used to care more about the humanities when I was younger than I do as an adult. It's probably true. As an adult, I do look more at science and at healthcare, like the people that are really on the front lines, making a difference in other people's lives. Those are the greats, where the artists are, pithily kind of farting around with ideas, but not farting around with ideas. You know, and I sit there, I even think of this painting, and I'm like, well, there's nothing over exaggerated, not really, about this painting. You know, I'm not bringing anything new to light. I'm taking an old idea and trying to put some steam into it. Uh, but I'm not being super twisted in my description of things, in my visual descriptions, because I don't see things necessarily as all twisted up when I think people want to see things twisted. You know, in a way, it teases the eye and it makes people really want to see things in I don't know, more or less a surreal fashion. They want to be one step away from a notion of hell. They don't really want to see themselves as characterized as in hell or relate to other creatures. Just the idea of roasting pigs, roasting animals is so, it feels just like disgusting to me. I get a visceral disgust over the idea of it now. Or before, you know, I was completely indifferent. And now it's just like, wow, I can't believe we actually cook other animals and slaughter them. You know, it's weird. But before, I was also, my empathy was in a way greater as it went into um, thoughts about empathy towards plants. And I was kind of caught up in this empathy of, wow, how can we even consume anything, you know? And yeah, I don't know. So it's weird because my empathy level constricted to more or less, yeah, things that can scream and yelp and wriggle, and brought into a different state, and then all of a sudden the disgust for animal death took over. And it makes me wonder how long I can hold out against the whole of humanity consuming, but at the same time, it's also a sense of self-identification. Being vegetarian is a sense of self-identification. But I don't want to be defined by my diet. I don't believe I am defined by my diet. But a lot of people define themselves by their diet. Alright, looks like I got a couple people in the room. That's cool. If any of you guys have anything you want to type in the box, I'm more than happy to respond. And if you wanted to dock, that's that's a super pleasure there. A super pleasure. Let's see. Yeah, I talked about Eric's new video earlier. I was kind of meandering about it, about his youthful energy. Well, I, he mentioned a lot about philosophy being about violence and about sex, and I was thinking about his age. He's a younger man, so his hormone levels his metabolism is high, and so I think he naturally has to, take his philosophy to a visceral sense as he senses it, and it's a real part of his being, and so he's his expressions seem authentic. That's where he sees the roundup of philosophy going is into this kind of into this violence, into political change, into seeing himself. He also, being younger, he's less tempered towards the law. So he wants to break out and free himself relative to the law and law structures. He wants to run free and naked, and you walk on four legs breaks the law. The normative system, the cultural system bounds us, just by being in megalopolises as we are. But he also has a drive. His sexual energy is really high, so I think he reduces a lot of philosophy to sexual energy as opposed to maybe a more um, deflated kind of approach that older philosophers have. Um, older philosophers, older people are looking more at facts and figures and kind of benign relationships. They're not so bounded emotionally. Um, so I think he has a real drive for political change, and he sees his sexual energies and temperaments and expresses those throughout his philosophy as well. But he's really authentic. He's a gem as far as being authentic in his thoughts on things. And he's nervous about the schism that would happen if he mixed his philosophy, got too close to other philosophers. Oh, thanks. Yeah, just working on the undercoat right now and trying to hammer it out and closer to this red area here, kind of red yellow, so I'm doing a green undercoat, kind of greenish red. But yeah, we'll see how it comes out. I kind of sometimes I'm incredibly self-deprecating as far as my art's concerned. As far as my person is concerned, I really ridicule myself. And so sometimes it's good to hear other people appreciate it because it makes me feel like I'm not sucking as much as I feel like I suck inside. Um, which, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm really hating on myself either, because it's not like that, but sometimes I just wonder of where, what it is I'm doing and why it is I'm doing it, and instead of just enjoying the fact that I'm capable of doing it and that people are okay with it, and that I've spent a lot of time building up to it. I don't know. I have a lot of different thoughts about my own relationship to my art. Even got into this kick about the invoking, about creating symbology in the paintings and what that invokes in myself. Okay, well, thanks for saying I'm not sucking. That's cool. Let's see. How do you feel when people say something like your paintings remind me of some painter? Um, well, sometimes my initial thought on that is kind of negative. You know, it's like, I don't know. It really depends on who they're saying I remind them of. You know, normally I get, oh, you remind me of that guy. What's his name? Salvador Dali? Yeah, that guy. You know, it's like, oh, okay, well, so you learned who Salvador Dali was, and you think I have some sort of connection to him, so that's really great, you know. But I don't know. I don't look at it negatively, I guess, not really. But sometimes it's more or less when I hear that kind of talk, it's it's people that are trying to express what it is they think they know about art. But if somebody says, you know, somebody really eclectic that I've never heard, like Amanda Oldfan said I look like Joe Coleman, and I had to look up Joe Coleman, and then I realized I saw some of his work already, and I liked it quite a bit, and so that was a nice compliment. It kind of caught me in a good way. Why am I reminding you of somebody? Do tell. Don't hold back. I'll look there in just a second. Oh, see now, I've heard of Hieronymus Bosch, but I've never heard of Jerome Bosch. Oh, he's the same guy. Oh, right on. Yeah, that guy's absolutely amazing, and he was so dated. You know, he was so advanced for his time. But I mean, I'm hardly that. You know, this is kind of the renaissance for his kind of work nowadays. So I feel like I'm just another fish in the sea, kind of relative to relative to him. Well, right on. It's good that there's somebody in here that can even write music. That's cool. Remember, your articulation in your text is quite heavy. I got to check something out here. Huh, interesting. Huh. Yeah, it makes me want to speculate about who you might be, but no, now it doesn't make any sense to. But yeah, I don't know as far as music whether or not you feel like you're invoking, for lack of a better word, invoking spirits when you're writing music. That you're invoking psychological states that are, confounding. They're self-confounding, and they're liberating, and at the same time they condense you emotionally. There's got to be that in music composition, I would think. Oh, right on. Right on. Well, it was Neo Hote that asked me about Eric Orwell, and I actually thought perhaps that is Eric Orwell. Because I was asking him to come on to do a chat session in the tiny chat, and he mentioned he was available during the days. But I don't actually think he's subscribed to me, and I was sending him out emails for the last 2 days, but I didn't bother doing it today. So no, I haven't asked him. That would be nice to get him on board too. I just barely subscribed to him not more than a week ago. I never knew he was there. Same thing with Suicide for Celluloid. It'd be nice if I got Suicide for Celluloid on. I was watching him briefly in a chat room, watching the Ham um, Nye argument, the Steve Nye and Ham creationist versus um, evolution sort of argument that was going on. Anyway, yeah. So I'm always taken back. I wouldn't have been upset or weirded by different people and their anonymity, but ever since I've been doing these chat rooms, the anonymity of people is a little disconcerting, but it's not upsetting. is just like, wow, who who are these people that are somehow connected to my channel? They follow me in on Tiny Chat, but I sure do appreciate it. It makes the time go by a lot differently than just sitting here doing a monologue. But, no problem. No, you don't need to apologize for anything. People are on their own schedule. They got to do their own thing. I'm just supposed to be something for their enjoyment anyway. I'm trying to be a little bit of an entertainer, even though I'm not that entertaining. I'm just supposed to ramble on, help people get through their day. Yep. Yeah, there's a weird sensation watching Eric Orwell, because I think he's somebody that could borderline go absolutely crazy, feel so confined in his own skin. And he mentioned that he was alone. Even though he's married and he's got friends, he feels alone. And I'm thinking, somebody that's as isolated in their own head, but as bright as he is bound to feel alone. That even the close relationships he has, even with his wife, she's not going to be able to necessarily identify with his ideas, or the rapid pace in which he can riddle through ideas. And so it's I can see a madness brewing from him, or a sense of isolation, I should say. It seems that there would be a sense of isolation. Right on. Feel more comfortable in my room. I've already been recording for almost 45 minutes. It's pretty crazy. It's always blows me away at how little I get done in a chat session. But yeah, I'm glad you feel comfortable. Yeah, shooting the shit with you was a bit comforting too. You had docked up. You hit the start broadcasting button, and then you go through and click on various things. But when you get to open mic or push to talk, you probably want to do push to talk, because I've got an open mic, so it would echo. Kind of have to test your sound, make certain Tiny Chat's reading your sound. Yeah, I think only once got more than one person to dock up besides me. since I started this. Yeah, when I do these outlines, you know, it was freeing me before to speak, and now I feel a little bit like I have to concentrate on it. It's so weird. And when I'm drawing it from scratch, it's almost easier to talk than when I'm just tracing it. Well, Neohote, what did you think about Eric Orwell's video? Provided you're still in the room, and you are still in the room. Well, I see you docked up, but I can't hear you. Yeah, it resonated with me well. He resonates with me quite well. Oh, I hear somebody now.
It's only me. It's a nobody.
Oh, you're back up.
I had a spook.
How you doing?
Yeah, I didn't have a disastrous day, so not too bad. But, what happened, Jay? Because Jay docked, so I thought, well, if Jay is docking, then I should dock too. Especially as he said he'd never docked before. We did give it a go and came on, but he docked off pretty quick or disappeared pretty quick. He's back in the room again, but
Yeah, he probably just reloading his browser and everything. We'll see if we can get you guys on here.
is my volume okay, or is it too loud or too quiet?
No, it's just dandy.
Welcome, Jay. Have you been, Dustbook?
Well, the last 24 hours, you know, I got really down for a few hours, and then I had coffee, and my cats, you know, I got one cat, and he just eats me alive, just scratches the hell out of me. And he used to, you know, I've had her for a month now, and just over the last 4 days or so, it started to get really violent at me, and I'm trying to figure out if I'm not feeding it right, or if I'm keeping the temperature too high, or if it's got a sore or a wound, or if it needs to go outside more or something. All I know is or maybe it's just more playful in general, and that's how it needs to play with me. So it's got me a little bit bummed though, because I didn't want a violent pet, but it looks like I got one anyway.
Was it a rescue cat or?
Yeah, I got it from a shelter, but it was really gentle when I met it, and for the last 3 weeks it's been really gentle. So it's just something's turned on in it, and it's been fixed, so it's not in heat, unless it goes through a hormonal shift that I'm just not aware of. But that's got me going a little bit. Well, at least somebody else is attempting to dock. That's pretty cool. I gotta do a bathroom break real quick. Keep them entertained for me.
That's a joke. Keep people entertained while I'm drinking my cup of soup and change name to useless faggot. I forgot this is being recorded on YouTube. That's no good. Maybe I should take up art and do some painting.
Now I gotta take some pain meds. Starting to set in. Right on.
Anybody hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
All right, finally.
Hey, no time lucky.
So who be you
Done a
be?
grand job.
Yeah, I was at war with the technology here. It just wouldn't cooperate by any means.
What did you use? The hammer?
I considered that briefly.
Shouting can help.
Yeah, I found that it's worked in the past a few times.
Well, your voice sounds unfamiliar to me. You're on the wtfjay channel? WTF channel?
That's me.
I think I just subscribed to you. I'm not certain if I had. Or did you? You're not the guy who Facebook friended me, are you?
That's me.
That is you. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm not
Yeah,
getting in. Oh, go ahead.
we've only ever interacted in text, I think, for the most part, I think. So, yeah, I'm from the strange land of Canada.
Oh, right on. Yeah, I know somebody else up in Canada, up in Alberta, Lethbridge, who's floats around the YouTube parts. What part of Canada are you from?
Toronto.
Toronto. Clear on the other end. Right on.
I've actually seen more of the States than I have Canada, really. So that's kind of interesting, I guess.
Yeah, if you're a native of Canada. Huh. Well, to be honest with you, I don't remember what we might have chatted about online, but that's fine.
Yeah, I think just small things here and there, and occasional how's it going, and that sort of thing.
Mhm.
I always wanted to get more active on YouTube, but I've just never found the time to actually make the commitment and make the videos, that stuff. So
Well,
kind of failed at that aspect of it. That's for sure.
well, this painting project of mine has got me really active on it, but I don't know, activity doesn't seem to really bring in a lot of following by any means, but at least it's more interactive. I mean, actually meeting and talking with people that I've never would have talked to before had I not done this. I'm really pretty happy with it.
Yeah, it's a good project. It's interesting. It's sort of reinstilled some interest back into YouTube. It's been pretty stale for a long time, so it's good to see something different happening. Philosophy of Eric, well, that's just perfect.
Yeah, well, I'll be asking everybody for financial donations in the future. I'm kidding, of course, but um, that sounded like that would be the purpose of trying to get active on YouTube, is to put ads on my account and and try to get rich.
You'll have to get a Patreon account.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
I don't even know
hell,
how that works anymore. I remember back in the day, you just became a partner or something, and then you started making money by views. And nowadays, I don't even know what they do. It's Google Plus stuff and all that business.
well, if you want like 1/1000th of a penny, you can put ads on your video, and every time someone watches it, you get 1/1000th of a penny, or maybe it's more than that. I don't know. Maybe it's less than that. I don't know. I've never done it, but I do know that anyone can do it now.
Yeah, I never tried that stuff. Don't think I would get anything anyway. My views get up to, I don't know, 27. I think on one video, it's just I'm in that weird part of YouTube where I just have no existence or interaction with the rest of the world, it seems.
Well, do you have quite a few subscribers, or what do you have in the subscriber department?
I think in my main channel, I think I've got 40 some odd, maybe.
I see. Well, I just recently purchased subscribers to one of Gary's channels as an experiment, because he was complaining about his viewer count, and so I found an SEO company and bought him 200 subscribers for $13, and supposedly they're live subscribers.
How does that work then? Does each subscriber get a percentage of the money that you paid?
I don't actually know exactly how it works, but I think it's all just done through links, people searching things, you know, if someone searches interesting YouTube channels, then, you know, then one of the links will show up and link them to your channel when you pay for it. I think that's how it's done. I think it's just people's search preferences is what they're counting on. But who knows? Maybe they get paid, you know, pennies on the dollar for subscribing or something like that. I don't know. Or pennies on the pound where you come from.
Yeah, I don't think it would be a whole lot. Although some people seem to make a living off of that thing, so it's, you know, you got some pretty big, I guess the big flagship channels, if you will. The YouTubes, I guess they do okay.
Hell yeah. If I had, you know, 10,000 viewers per video, I would definitely be monetizing also because, you know, that might be worth $10. I don't know. Maybe it'd be worth more. I don't know. I don't know. But like Jenna Marbles has some 12 million subscribers and gets a million plus hits per video, and obviously makes a good living on her YouTube. And I watch the Shaytards.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what were you gonna say?
No, and then there's the Patreon account, isn't it, where you ask people to donate a donation for each video you make, and some people are getting $5,000+ a video.
Oh yeah, Thunderfoot's on
donated
that.
to people.
Yeah.
That's a ticket.
Yeah, hell, maybe I should do an experimental Patreon thing. I just laugh because it seems so embarrassing.
I think it's okay if you're doing something worthwhile and helping people, isn't it? Then you could justify it.
Yeah, maybe you're right there. I don't know. Is painting in front of people, is that helping people? I don't know. I don't know about that.
Maybe if you're painting while talking about celebrities, maybe that's the ticket. Maybe that's the way that turns into a dollar figure.
So that's what I want to do with my painting time is talk about celebrities, but yeah. And well, I was gonna say I watched the Shaytards, who's a family that lives in Los Angeles with 5 kids, and they apparently make their whole living off of vlogging, and they vlog every day. And I know they've got an account with YouTube that pays them. But if they can raise a family of 5 and live in Los Angeles on YouTube, that's really substantial. They've been trying to build up their account for 4+ years now. It's just amazing.
Yeah, it's a pretty strange world when you really start to think about it. The whole vlogging thing there, it's odd. And most of them don't really have a whole lot to say, but somehow people are really intrigued by that sort of interaction, I guess, or that culture. Oral from Corey here.
Well, when you get too brainy or thick-headed, you know, I think you squeeze out a lot of your audience, and you know, it's the difference between having somebody that's active on YouTube and has several thousand subscribers as opposed to somebody with millions of subscribers who's a sensation. You know, it was even funny because Corey Anton, he monetized a couple of his videos at some point, and I think people gave him some shit about it because he wasn't, you know, he was getting like maybe 6,000 views a video or something like that, but still not really worth the money. It was more of a drag, than anything. But boy, when he came on, he asked Azrianok, who was a pretty big YouTuber at the time who dropped out, to give him a bump, and he even asked the Amazing Atheist to give him a bump. The Amazing Atheist put his channel on his recommended list, and so good.
Yeah, I remember those days.
Yeah.
Those were some heady days of YouTube. Yeah, I liked Azrainok's stuff. He was good.
Yeah, yeah, and he defended me quite well and helped me out in ways, and I helped him out. So, but then I got kooky, and he disappeared, and the old guard of YouTube kind of changed its face.
Yeah, I remember the big. It was the response to Corey, the scarecrow, the nuisance scarecrow or something.
Oh,
I remember that exchange.
Damn, you have been here a long time. uh, yeah, nuance, nuisance, salad.
Yeah, that's it. I remember. That was fun.
Yeah, yeah, that was a good ass time. Of course, he didn't take it at all with stride. He totally, you know, I thought he was gonna chum up and kind of pal in, but he took the I'm better than thou sort of attitude and just went and cried himself to sleep with his sucked his thumb. The motherfucker. Oh well. I'm not some
Yeah.
super strong guy.
Yeah, I never understood his reaction to that. That was definitely interesting to watch his end of it and his response. He actually got pretty bent out of shape about that, and I remember Jeff coming in and pretty much trying to do damage control. He
Right.
still seemed to be upset.
Right. Well, and that's why I decided to do that musical because it was more like, man, this guy's gonna get it from me now. He's, I don't know. I was winding up for that one.
Yeah, that was good too.
Yeah.
That was amusing. Did he respond to that? I didn't see any interaction on that one.
No, that's when he shut me off altogether. I mean, he never blocked me. That's the one thing he never did was block me. So I appreciate that, but that totally, he deleted all previous videos that had any association to me, the nuance salad one and everything like that, or he privatized them, and he totally
that's too bad.
just got me off the radar. And if anything, I thought I helped him out by doing what I did. I don't think I hindered
Well, it certainly
him.
got traffic to his channel. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, when I first saw him, you know, I thought he had quality content, so I was sharing it with all the people in the Nighted Owl room, which was the collective of YouTubers that all thought the other ones were cool, so they had the Nighted Owl Club on Stickam, and then I was sharing his videos with them.
Yeah, I like Corey. I was a part of that reading club he had going there, and it was interesting. I got to talk to him a little bit. He's a nice guy, but yeah, it just seemed the way he deals with certain interactions. I remember he had a very similar sort of reaction to what was his name? Jericho movie. He seemed uncomfortable with that as well. Those early interactions, which was interesting to watch.
Right.
These people
Well,
are different.
Jericho, he even moved to my city here. I'm in Salt Lake, and he moved to this city, and I tried to get a hold of him, and he totally just didn't respond. And I have to come to grips that I rub people the wrong way, and they're not happy to make up or connect with me in any extensive fashion. That's just kind of my deal, though. I've already accepted that. It makes me want to cry myself to sleep, though. Well, yeah,
Well, it's just I guess maybe that's a byproduct of just the creative process and just talking about the deeper things. I think some people get particularly attached to things and they get really defensive about it. And if they detect anything that even resembles skepticism or scrutiny, they get upset about it or something. I don't know. It's it's interesting to watch from the bleachers, if you will.
Well, I just came to grips with the idea that some personalities are truly delicate flowers. They're delicate flowers internally to themselves, and they don't like brushes with anything rough or pointy or snaggy. And I'm kind of a snaggy sort of guy, you know, but hardly as snaggy as Amendem, and yet Amendem and Anton, I don't know. Corey could take on and or Amendem, but I I don't know. Yeah, he just shied away from trying to get me in the ring, and to be honest, I would be nerve-wracked if I got in the ring with Anton. But
He's a clever guy. He's definitely well read and interesting. I just think I think from my perception anyway, his biggest issue is just um, kind of in lockstep with certain authors. When you start to get away from that particular model, it almost seems like once he's out of his wheelhouse, he's not comfortable with particular things, or tries to get it back on the rails by going that route again.
right, right, I agree with you. He's stuck on his authors. Yeah, trying to get him into a logical positivism, or to quote Wittgenstein or something like that, he falls back on these esoteric quotes by Wittgenstein and doesn't really try to hammer out epistemologies, because he's such an ontologist. But so everything he tends to defend is ontology. Maybe he'll extend into phenomenology a little bit, but for the most part, he's pretty wrapped up in his ways. I don't know. The last beef I had over Anton was that video he made trying to talk about the audio. What was it called? Like, music makes us weep or something like that. And I said,
Yeah,
yeah, and I had a beef with that, and I commented on it, and I got some feedback from that. Just that just that I don't think that he's, you know, if he's never cried, first of all, he compares audio, which is kinetic and dynamic, to a painting, as opposed to like an animation. And 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 yet he was kind of making it sound like paintings don't move us. And for me, at least, I mean, I've been drastically moved by paintings and emotionally moved by paintings, and so I was unsympathetic to his argument. And
Yeah, I didn't understand that one myself. I'm a visual and audio artist, so the two, frankly, I can't personally, I can't separate the two. The two are almost intermingled in a sense, where when I'm working on a particular audio thing, I like to have something visual on the go, and the inverse for the other. I see um, I see particular things when I'm doing music or music will put together certain collection of sort of these images and sort of things, or coming from a scoring background, I can picture the type of scene or something to go into, and without that visual, I find that I get lost, and with the painting end of it and drawing and stuff, I always have to have music on the go, so I can't separate the two. So I found his analysis of that to sort of focus on the one didn't it certainly didn't connect with me anyway.
yeah, and yeah, I agree with what you're saying there. It's in a way, it's obvious that he doesn't, not appreciate paintings. It's just that um, he's trying to put audio as predominant over the visual, and I don't think he was, I don't think he came up with that philosophy to piss me off, but it but it did piss me off. But
Well, it just sounds more subjective. It sounds more like he's approaching it from his perspective. I mean, I've met many different artists and, well, people in general over the years that will argue one way or the next. I don't know, like, how do you put a stamp on that and say, yes, this is objectively the case? I just don't. I don't know where he was trying to go with that, or what kind of connection he was trying to make. It just
well, I think
doesn't follow.
I mean, we're inundated with sights and sounds all the time, but you know, um, my thought was kind of like, even if I get choked up over Bette Midler's The Rose song, if I saw her in concert and listened to it, I wouldn't be crying during the concert. You know, like I almost have to be in an emotional state to let something move me, and it could be anything. So yeah, I do think it's subjective versus matter of fact. And
Well, another interesting thing is, if we're talking about visual things or the sight moving us to things, I would find it quite curious that somebody that reads so much and relies on his eyes essentially to read books and appreciate that would go that direction or try to make that argument. I mean,
mhm.
I wonder if audiobooks would move him as much as taking in the text with his own eyes.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to go at it. Even this phrase "come at it" or "go at it," like that's something that I think he's putting in the airwaves. Because he always says
Into the ether. I think it's the ether. We're putting it into
well,
the electron.
he always says, "This is how I'd come at that. This is how you should come at this argument." And it's peculiar that he uses that phraseology, I think, because he's always trying to prepositionally bound the arguments and grant them spatial relevance. which is also interesting that he's always doing prepositional spatial metaphors in his mode of thinking, and then the subject matter is just like you said, it's, you know, whether or not he should be talking about an audio book instead of a book that he's read.
That would certainly be interesting. I'd like to see him do a review of some audiobooks, his favorite audiobooks, and see if that buttresses well with his audio argument there. It'd be interesting to see how he reconciles those two things.
I'm almost certain you'd make zero headway with him if you actually appealed to him in a comment or a message to relay his favorite audiobooks. I don't think he goes there.
Yeah, it would certainly be odd, that's for sure. It would be an interesting encounter anyway, if there was anything, if he responded to it at all, which I suspect you're right, he wouldn't give that a lot of consideration.
Zing. Talking crap. I didn't even know we had somebody in here named Useless Faggot. Yeah, I'm glad you left the room. Man, I'm going on an hour and 20 minutes. Maybe I should just push this video out as long as the video can go, but I hate doing that because I think if you record longer than the time limit allotted, then it'll delete your video. It won't upload at all. So that's why I normally end around an hour and 20 minutes. But I think I'll push the hour and 30-minute marker on this one. Just to see.
Well, maybe the guest was unhappy that we were discussing the antics of one Corey Anton. Perhaps what he's seen as an unfavorable light. I don't know.
I always imagine that it is Corey Anton in the room and he's upset. Well, just like I thought Neo Hote was actually Eric Orwell, because he was asking about Eric Orwell. And something I did I'd go into Gary's chat room sometimes under another name, and then I'd bring up Das Poop just to feed the discussion. Oh, circles.
Well, I guess you never really know who it is, because I think only the site once, essentially. And I noticed that you can type in any nickname you want into the thing, so who knows who it is that's taking it in.
Well, that's
Maybe
the
it is
thing.
Corey.
Yeah, that's the bit about the anonymity that's kind of interesting. Well, and that's the other thing about Anton, is he always tries to make himself seem like, I'm really busy, I've really got a lot going on and a lot to do, and I can only make a short video here. Let's see how fast I can make this video. And then he's very curt, and all of his comments are never in depth. They're always like, good to hear, have a good day sort of comments. They're always really trite and light. So
yeah, I had I guess a few years ago, I wrote a blog, and I asked him to get his thoughts on it, and I think he pretty much summed it up in a couple words. He's like, "Yeah, it's fine, good stuff. Thanks, Corey."
Yeah.
Okay, well that's helpful, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, depending
I was
on.
hoping for a little more interaction on it, but I guess you take what you can get.
Well, he has put himself out there as an authority, but had he not actually been a professor or put that forth, really put his ethos forward as his, like, hey, pay attention to me, I am a professor. Had he not done that, I don't think he'd have quite the following that he has now. And Chad African, I just found out who he is, and I didn't know he had any teaching credentials, but it turns out he does. But I don't know to what extent. I just know that he has them. And so as soon as you're inside of the field itself, then different then Anton will come down out of his high chair and his high chair and kind of give you the nod, or send you his book or something that's more or less trying to, yeah, the nod. Everyone
I always
else.
wanted to see an exchange with Corey and Mr. Cropper. Remember Mr. Cropper?
Oh yeah.
That would have been an interesting exchange. I think, at least if nothing else, a humorous one. Anyway.
Well, I think he did comment on Mr. Cropper at some point. Mr. Cropper blocked me from his channel, so I was subscribed to him. I don't even know if he makes videos anymore.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in years. I think I was blocked years ago as well when he was doing his review of Jeff's book. I think that's about the point where he gave me the axe. I think I commented on something once and asked him a question and was met with the band hammer.
Well, there's Bubonic Nate, Steve Ernst. Neither of those two make videos anymore. Ben Cruz put out a movie, a short movie that was, I think, like 25 minutes long, a half hour, that I just loved.
Yeah, I liked Ben's stuff. I liked the game series. That was an interesting series he put together there.
Well, I best shut this video down. So I'm approaching an hour and a half. See how my my mohawk looks like shit today. What a bad hair day. Here, I'll let y'all see it. Oh yeah. All right. Well, that's the end of this video. Late.